Justice League the Animated Series, Season 1, Episodes 12 and 13, titled War World. And the story is that Superman and Martian Manhunter have been knocked out of space. They wake up and find out they have been captured by Ravagers and being sent off to a planet that does a gladiator fight to death show run by a man named Mongol. And Martian Manhunter is able to escape, but Superman isn't, so he's forced to do the fights. While that's happening, you have Green Lantern and Hawkgirl trying to find Superman and Martian Manhunter. What I like from this story is basically how in the first part-ish, they took its time. They did a little bit of world building. It did a little bit of getting us to understand the contestants, understand who Mongol is, understand how War World works, and all this kind of stuff, and understand the contestants. I mean, here's the thing: like, there's one contestants that we are focused more to, but I love how we are basically world building this section of it and understand the war, what War World is, and I mean, when we focus on Green Lantern and Hawkgirl, and I love how they actually act like a married couple. They are bickering to each other. They are like bickering and say, it's like, you go left, I go right. Who has the wing? Who has their mace? Like, it's that kind of bickering that you're like, and everybody's, of course, people are like, I'm just going to move up. I'm just going to push the window up so I don't hear them, which is kind of cool. But the stuff I don't like, it all happens in the second half of the story, part 2 of the story, and it's basically this. It felt like they knew that they needed the big Superman Mongol fight. So, about 3 minutes before that big fight comes along, we had this big conversation between Superman and Mongol, meaning like you would lose because people, while Superman wise, Superman gives people hope, and Mongol wants that to be taken back away and make it, let him be the cheerer versus Superman. Now, this conversation just starts out of nowhere. Like it feels like he started mid-sentence. And like Mongol just starts talking in mid-sentence, and I'm like, you know what? It's like they just cut off, like, Superman's in chains, walking towards them and having a little bit of conversation. It's like they cut some bits on the script that felt really, that needed a little bit more time, a little bit more development towards the relationship between Mongol and Superman. And then it just ended. I mean, it's like, Martian Manhunter and Green Lantern and Superman are together, and they will go back to the Watch Tower, and we'll, see whatever the next story is, and all that kind of stuff. But I shit you not, it just, like, ended. They go to the space, they go to space, and it's like, it's that, like, it didn't feel really satisfying over the story. And and it's like, it's one of those things where it's just suffers from the third act, which it's always hard to find a good third act. But due to the fact, it felt like it was like a 50-page script. Like, it had enough for like a 23 episode thing, but they had to cut like after 3 minutes off, which is a shame. But for me, the first 2 acts of the story was strong. It just suffered from a like unsatisfying ending that kind of just like ends